Many people have been asking me a lot of questions about the proper way to make wine. So I decided to make this video so that I can inform each and every one who has asked me questions. Number one, in order to make wine, the first thing I will tell you is to be very clean with your utensils. Cleanliness is one of the most important factors in winemaking, whether it be from grapes or juice, because bacteria has a tendency to develop and grow in anything we do. So cleanliness is the most important factor. Always wash your utensils with a chlorine solution that you can rinse later, or a potassium metabisulfite solution, or what we call sea bright. Sea bright is a sort of a chlorine solution that is mixed in water, and your utensils are cleaned with that, and then rinse thoroughly. You always must rinse thoroughly. The second thing I want to talk about is yeast. People ask me about bread yeast. Can we use bread yeast? And my answer to that is yes and no. The only reason you don't use bread yeast is because bread yeast dies after approximately 8 to 9% alcohol content. And in order to produce wine of any quality, you need at least 12 to 15% alcohol. So don't use bread yeast unless you cannot find any other kind of yeast. If you live in an area where wine yeast is not available, then you can use bread yeast. I am against it, but you can do it. The second question is, like I had told you about the cleanliness. People ask me, can we use plastic containers? What I have to say is this: plastic containers, only food quality plastic can be used. And I only recommend that in the primary stage. The first stage of winemaking is called the primary, food grade plastic. The secondary stage, I would recommend and always recommend glass carboys or glass bottles, glass containers of some sort with an airlock system. Always remember, you can leave. People ask me, do we leave the bottle open for the first couple of days? Do we close the bottle? And the answer is either. You can either water seal the bottle from the first day of fermentation or wait 3 to 5 days, like I stress in some of my videos. You can wait 3 to 5 days in an open container and then water seal from the beginning. The result is approximately the same. And people ask me, well, where do I go from that point? Well, I always tell you the first 14 days normally is your primary stage. The second 14 days is what they call the secondary stage and the clearing and fining stage. That is where we rack the wine. Racking means to transfer from one container to another, and fining means the clearing of the wine. After a 28-day period, make sure you always siphon the wine and leave your siphon hose approximately 1 inch from the base so as not to suck up sediment that has settled there. You don't want to put the sediment in your wine, so you want crystal clear wine, and that is the whole objective, to get fine, clear wine. So always remember, in the second stage, after the 28-day period, always siphon with a hose 1 inch from the base, and scrap all the remainder in there. Don't try to filter it. It's a waste of time. And people ask me about degassing. Degassing, you can go to a wine store, and my answer is this: go to a wine distributor store, okay? Places where they sell wine kits and wine yeast and wine products. And you can buy what they call a drill paddle. A drill paddle is almost, if you ever saw painters, they use this large spindle that they put at the end of a drill, and they mix their paint with it. Well, the spindle that I am talking about is similar to that, and you put it on a drill, you stick it down into your container, and you run that drill for approximately 5 to 8 minutes. And what that does, it forces all the gases out of the wine, and you degas your wine. That is the method that is used. And to be honest with you, if you follow those directions and stay clean and use wine yeast, I recommend Montrachet. Montrachet is a good yeast, and the reason why I recommend it, it normally will produce anywhere from 12 to 15% alcohol, which is strong enough to kill any future bacteria or any problems in the wine. And always use a Camden tablet in the end, or potassium metabisulfite, 1/8 teaspoon per gallon. And what that does, it stops unwanted fermentation. It keeps the wine fresh and kills any bacteria. Thank you very much for listening and watching. This is the Winemaker. Any questions, please leave comments. I appreciate it.